All right, Salakia, part 2. So yeah, these women, they'll cause you to do things that you wouldn't normally do. That's why I read that verse earlier that talked about, he that is unmarried pleaseth Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, but he that is married, you're gonna have that natural tendency to want to please your wife. And like I said, men, we can have women, but it's better to be solo. When you're solo, you're gonna be dialed in. I remember when I had a woman, and if we're sincere in this, men can do it. It can be done, right? But I remember like that verse is like it's right on point, because I remember when I had a woman, I would do things that I would want to do to please her. And I'm not going to say that I was lacking with my time with the truth and the ministry, but I know that there were times when, let me put it to you like this, once she was gone, when we were done, I was more zoned in on the truth. I did have more focus. I did have less distraction, And really, just hearing myself say that, like, it shows you the way that, we're changed in this truth, man. Because I remember when I was in my 20s and 30s and even early 40s, even now, really, you just desire those women. But, I'm to a point now where, yeah, there's desire, but I'm not going to be jumping through fucking, I'm not going to be jumping through anything for, trying to deal with these women, because when you get in this knowledge and this truth, you really just really especially when you get vexed, you know what I'm saying, the Lord will redirect you. You get vexed in your spirit, the Lord will redirect you, and then you stay in that, walking in that spirit consistent, and then you just feel better, man. The brothers in our camp, we talk about it a lot, just how we're really not focused on women right now. Now again, brothers, Jake, we always love and desire women, but then you gotta remember what comes with the territory, and when you deal with a woman, you get reminded real quick, and the time we're in right now, shoot, we don't know the day or the hour, but we know that we're getting close. And through the spirit, I think a lot of brothers are basically like, we're on a different vibration where we're just like, shoot, Isaiah 4:1, we can wait for that, because like I said, man, these Babylonian women, your soul is going to get vexed if you're just dealing with these women and always living for that pleasure. I promise you, I guarantee you're going to be vexed, and if you ain't careful, you end up falling in love with a woman. You end up really liking one of these women, and she ain't right, then that's that's something you're going to have to, pray to Yahweh Bashem Yahushai to pull you out of. So anyway, let's keep reading. This says, the fear of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai is all wisdom, and in all wisdom is the performance of the law and the knowledge of his omnipotency. So yeah, the fearing Yahweh is better than loving Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. We always tell you guys that the fear is more important. And Elder Apostle Gabar, he always has that good analogy with the woman, because he says if a woman, she can love her husband, but she'll still cheat, or commit adultery. But if she fears her husband, she's less likely to be in that wicked adultery spirit, Because why? Because she fears her husband. And so that's a good analogy on why fearing Yahweh Bashem Yahushai is better than loving Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. Now don't get me wrong, we love Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, but we first and foremost we fear him, or we fear Yahweh Bahashem Yahushai. Verse 21, if a servant say to his master, I will not do it, or I'm sorry, if a servant say to his master, I will not do as it pleaseth thee, though afterward he do it, he angereth him that nourisheth him. The knowledge of wickedness is not wisdom, neither at any time the counsel of sinners, neither at any time the counsel of sinners prudence. Right, so you got that left hand, the left hand, knowledge, wisdom, which, there's wisdom on the left, but it's in wickedness. So we're on the right. This is the knowledge that we strive for. Verse 23, there is a wickedness and the same an abomination, and there is a fool wanting in wisdom. Let's see. Let me read verse 24. He that hath small understanding feareth the Most High, is better than one that hath much wisdom and transgresseth the law of the Most High. See how important the fear is of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai? It's better to just know a little of this knowledge and this truth and to fear Yahweh Bashem Yahushai than you can know all the precepts, all the scriptures, but you just disregard the laws. You're walking in the flesh constantly. You're living for pleasure constantly, but you know all the precepts. You see? That's a good verse right there. So let's keep reading. I'm actually going to put that one on the group chat because that one's heavy. There is, verse 25, there is an exquisite subtlety, and the same is unjust. And there is one that turneth aside to make judgment appear. And there is a wise man that justifieth in judgment. There is a wicked man that hangeth down his head sadly, but inwardly he is full of deceit. Right. That's Esau, Edom, and the 2/3. 27. Casting down his countenance and making as if he heard not, where he is not known, he will do thee a mischief before thou be aware. Yeah, motherfuckers acting like they don't know shit, and they do. Turn around and like we said earlier, they go and start, bad talking you, talking shit about you, spreading rumors, acting like he didn't know nothing, shit like that. Verse 28, for if for want of power he be hindered from sinning, yet when he findeth opportunity he will do evil. Right, and you got a lot of motherfuckers that are like that. They wait for that right opportunity to do you dirty, acting smiling in your face and shit. You got a lot of motherfuckers that are like that, and that's a wicked ass spirit, Even just thinking about it, people who act, they call them two-faced, be all cool to you when you're around, smiling in your face, but then as soon as you're gone, and as soon as that opportunity for them to make you look bad, they jump on that, That's a sad spirit to be in, man. If you're a man and you're acting like that, man, you're prime for the destruction. Verse 29, a man may be known by his look, and one that hath understanding by his countenance when thou meetest him. A man's attire and excessive laughter and gait shew what he is. You see that? So men are known by the way they look, the way you dress, and that's just even in this, in this world, you can just think about it, you see and that goes for a woman too. You see these women that are just, dressed like sluts. Well, if she's dressed like a slut, she's probably a slut. You know what I'm saying? If she's dressed modestly, hey, she might have something good about her. Same thing with a man. If he's the way we dress, our attire, the way a man looks, like when you see like an austere man or a stoic man, that's probably somebody you don't want to fuck with, But if you see somebody like in verse 30 where it says, excessive laughter, he's just laughing all the time and doesn't have no seriousness to him, that dude's probably, he probably ain't about shit, And I'm actually, reading this one, it makes me feel good because even before the truth, I was never, I don't know, the Lord didn't just never really, I mean, there's things that are funny to me, but I've never been a big laugher. You know what I'm saying? I don't be like cracking up or laughing. Even before I was in the truth, I really didn't have that spirit. Because men who are, especially men who are just, you don't take a man serious if he's just constantly laughing and shit. You know what I mean? So anyway, I just wanted to go on Ecclesiastes 19. I was watching the brothers from Kansas City, and they kind of inspired me to do this lesson today. So I hope it was edifying. I want to give all the praise, all the glory, all the honor to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rakah, Qudash. Double honors goes out to the elder apostles of Great Millstone for teaching me the truth. Also want to acknowledge Al-Akyam, who are pushing the truth with sincerity throughout the four corners of the earth. And shalom to the elect. Shalom.